XRP's price is at a super critical point. We've now seen Hong Kong issue custody for XRP for institutions. We're seeing XRP's ETF flows going absolutely wild. We've got some huge news from Ripple. You really want to stay tuned to today's video because I'm going to be covering so much. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe. Here, the first point I want to cover is Hong Kong Hex Trust, a leading regulated digital asset for institutions, is now issued a wrapped XRP asset, and it actually has and is launching with $100 million in total value locked. So instantly we're getting a very huge solid base of liquidity from day one, and it's adding a lot of value to this expanding XRP ecosystem. What we can see here is it's actually landing on Solana, Ethereum, and other DeFi chains. So you'll be able to access this wrapped XRP for institutions on basically every chain. We know here a one-to-one backed representation of the native XRP. So if institutions are coming online to purchase this wrapped XRP, well then this company, Hex Trust, then now needs to go into the open market and purchase on a one-to-one backing directly XRP. So as we see institutions, especially Hong Kong, which is, a major base for a lot of financial institutions, now seeing that online, it's definitely going to add a lot of value because really this also ties into the XRP spot ETF inflows, because this new wXRP, it's basically a form of an ETF. It's a way to get a direct exposure to XRP for, those typical institutional investors. When we actually take a look here, so what we're seeing is the XRP spot ETF inflows, and on the right-hand side is the total, because we have a few different ETFs here. We have the Canary, Franklin, Bitwise, Grayscale. So here what we want to focus on is the total. And you see this number at the top, we see 9.92 million. But that's not $9.92 million. That's 9.92 million XRP. So the number that we see here can actually be times by the price of XRP. And as we see here, the price of XRP is hovering at around that $2 range, something I will cover later on in the video. I will touch on a little bit of technical analysis for XRP and where I'm expecting, because I'm still super bullish on XRP, especially with all this institutional money coming online. So coming back to this ETF here, we can see the total XRP spot ETF inflows. And this is actually going back to early November. And we're seeing hundreds of millions of XRP. Here we see 104 million XRP, 56 million, 80 million, 40 million. And nearly every single day we're having, 5 to 10 million in XRP inflows. So very, very, very bullish. Looking at the overall institutional underlying value of XRP, because we've really noticed that especially during this bull run, the entirety of this bull run hasn't really been pushed by retail players. We saw back in 2017 and a little bit in 2021, a lot of retail, but this last massive push since 2023 is all come from institutional plays, from the ETFs coming online and new institutions coming online, DATs, those digital asset treasuries, coming online to basically facilitate those institutional investors, giving them the opportunity to then actually invest into crypto. Another point I want to cover here is the OCC announces conditional approval for 5 national trust bank charter applications. And one of those 5 national banks is Ripple. So we're seeing here, we've got Ripple, Circle, and BitGo have now all been approved. Let's come over and finish off with some technical analysis where I'm expecting the price of XRP to go over the next few months. So here on the weekly, we did get a calculated bearish divergence. This is actually, you can have it automatically calculated by the RSI. It can calculate the divergence. And when we did get that calculated divergence, we have been in a small downtrend since then. When we look at the daily, though, it's completely different because we've actually got a bullish divergence here that was calculated in around early November. Nearly had a touch into the lower band of the RSI, which is usually can be quite a strong buying signal. Right now, we've basically been stuck nearly in a form of a trading range where prices have basically been bouncing from around this $2 range for a couple of weeks. Really haven't moved too much from this price range. We're really bouncing, especially when we move down to something like the 4-hour. Every time we're continuously coming into this price range, we are getting bounces. The first thing I want to see, we can see I have the 20 exponential moving average, which will be super important. We need to see a close above this 20 EMA. So currently we've closed a little bit below. We need to see a close above, because what that will allow for is a positive slope on the EMA. And when we have a positive slope, you'll see a lot more traders actually coming in with longs to the upside, as that's what has a higher probability to expect. So definitely waiting for a break above this EMA, because currently every single time we've tried to come above it has been using it as a slight rejection. But especially with this strong support down here, I am actually waiting and expecting a break above this 20 EMA on these shorter term timeframes. I'm also extremely bullish on XRP because of this MACD indicator. Now, what the MACD is right now signaling is we've got a shift in the last few weeks. Once we've got these continuous dark red bars, it means we've got increasing volume to the downside. But you've seen now for 3 weeks in a row, 1, 2, and 3, we've actually got declining sell volume, which is now showing some underlying buying volume. And if you've taken note into one of my previous videos where I went over my daily trading, day trading strategies that I use for crypto, this is something that I use in my day trading strategy where I wait for a change in the overall slope of the MACD. I wait for it to peak at an overall bottom. And then when we see this dark red change into basically light pink, that's when I'll shift and I'll look to be entering a position in the change of trend. And this trend is now shifting to the upside. So it's also showing quite strong underlying volume. That's why I've been saying since the start of this video, I do feel like XRP is at a super critical point, because we definitely could get that explosion. And even when we scroll out to these longer term timeframes, definitely in this lower band of support, because we have been sort of stuck just for a short time frame in this trading range. And it makes sense, especially because we've had such a huge explosion to the upside. XRP went from around 40 cents to nearly $4. When you're having that 10x in price, it makes sense that we are going to travel sideways. But then what's most likely is a continuation of the trend. And we're right now in the lower band of this trading range, looking for that continued move way above old all-time highs. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, really covering XRP, the latest news and some price action. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, tap the notification bell, and leave a comment if you agree or disagree with today's video.